Welcome to the Bill Levinson Experience, a motivational podcast relating to the insurance brokerage industry and business in general. And now, here's Bill Levinson.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Bill Levinson Experience podcast. Here we are in almost middle of December, the end of 2020. Obviously, I think that's probably a good thing for everyone. Everyone's looking forward to starting 21 off on the right foot. Hopefully this pandemic starts to ease up and vaccines are available and things start to get better, hopefully. And obviously, we're seeing lots and lots of changes in our industry, on a business side, on a personal side. There's tons and tons of movement in this country, in this world right now, right, that we're all experiencing. And primarily, it's if you're in the life insurance business, right, or selling in general, you're forced to work from your house, right, your third bedroom or your converted garage. So you have to pivot, right, and shift and make the necessary changes to move forward. It's so important. And anyway, with today's episode, I'm very, very excited about this. And the reason why is because, as you know, it's our job to go out and find new carriers, products, sales strategies, technology that will help our agents get their foot in the door and ultimately make new sales, right, as you all know. So Mark DiTondo is our guest speaker today from Lafayette Life. And again, second time I said this, why I'm so excited is if you listen to prior episodes with, let's say, Joe Ross or Mary Reed, okay, those are some of the best presenters and some of the best insurance home office folks that are available in this country today. So I put Mark in that top 5 list, okay? So you're going to see exactly why as soon as we wrap up in about 45 minutes, and I think you'll agree with me, and you're going to have plenty of nuggets that you can start using in your everyday practice. So, as you know, we have a ton of agents that listen to our podcast episodes. We have some of my friends, family, a networking group. Some people aren't even licensed insurance agents. Others are CPAs. We have financial advisors, estate planning attorneys. Everybody's looking, right, to get a little inspired and maybe learn about a new concept, right, that will help change you and your clients for the better. So, again, my foot is always on the gas when it comes to this stuff, and Mark is proof to my testament that I'm always going to go out and find the best speakers for you all. That's the bottom line. That's what today's episode is about, and I hope that everyone is very happy with the outcome. Write down plenty of notes, questions, comments. If you have anything for Mark, okay, let's say after we're done, you're listening to this maybe after the new year, whatever the case is, let me know, and I can get Mark on a conference call, on a webinar. He's even available to do presentations with you, maybe for CPAs, maybe for a networking group that you have, and obviously that can be done online, but just let me know, and he is available to all of us, okay? So I'll take just a step back for 1 second. So Mark did a few webinars with us, okay, with Levinson and Lafayette Life, and we did basically broke it down to a 3-part training series. And it's all about working with business owners. In fact, we had this new business owner software called Arisopedia that will allow any Lafayette Levinson active agents to access this software at no charge, and it gives you full access to business owners in your area, zip code, area code, whatever the case is. But this is a tool that, once again, will change your business for the end of 20, okay, or obviously 2021. And if you haven't worked this market before, I think you're going to be comfortable enough by the time we're done to start making some calls and even tapping into the software. And even if you're a veteran in this space, you're also going to walk away with some great nuggets. I promise you that. Okay, so without further ado, Mark DiTondo is joining us. Mark, thank you so much for taking the time. We're all so so looking forward to this and appreciate you coming on board. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Bill, for having me.
Yep, no problem. So if you don't mind, let's just start off. If we can just talk about a little bit of your background and how you even got started in this crazy business education. Can you just give us a little 100-foot overview, if you will?
Sure. I started in the business in 1989 with MetLife. My father has been with MetLife for 35 years. He retired in 1992 after 38 years with MetLife. I started in 1989. Was with MetLife for 9 years, then switched over to Mass Mutual, became a general agent for them in Providence, Rhode Island. Left them, actually went back to MetLife and ran the agency system for them in Rhode Island for 7 more years, and then went independent after that and joined Lafayette Life in 2014. Current role is a Vice President of Retirement Services, where we provide retirement planning, advanced retirement planning services for IMOs like yourself. And I work as a home office employee, but I don't consider myself a home office employee because I have multiple years of MDRT production as a producer and as a managing director and general agent. So mostly, in the retail side of it, but the last 7 as a wholesaler or vice president for Lafayette Life.
Yeah, that's very impressive, and that's what makes you dangerous. Exactly that, because you know both ends. And I remember, growing up, my father also started the same exact way through MetLife. And, I had this insurance spoon in my mouth since I was literally like 7 years old. So, I knew what a whole life policy was before I knew how to drive a car. So very similar background. And, I remember my dad saying, you really have to sell on the street first, right, to become a successful and productive IMO so you can help your agents. You have to know what it's like on both sides. So exactly to that point, Mark. That's impressive. And let me tell you, we have over 70 carriers, okay? Lafayette's one of our core companies, but you can imagine literally every one of our carriers comes to us and almost daily and says, hey, we want to be on your webinar or on your podcast, and, what day and time works for you? We'll make it work on our end. No, we don't just take someone on as a guest speaker just for the sake of having a new episode. We hand pick every single person that's on these podcasts, and Mark is here just for that reason, okay? And like I said, he's going to bring a lot to the table. He's got some great experience, some great stories, some great strategies that you're going to hear. So again, I'm so excited about this. 3rd time I said it. So Mark, real quick, I always push to our agents about it's so important to have like a good mentor, role model. It doesn't matter if it's a parent, a brother, sister, anything. Is there anyone that helped you and kind of guided you a little bit? Any advice you can give to our listeners?
Well, sure. I mean, I've had several mentors, but probably my dad, obviously. I still talk to him almost every day about business. He's 90 years old, and we talk business. But I can tell you a quick story. Back in 1989, I started January 8th, 1989, and back then it was all about policy count, making a sale every week. And I remember the 3rd week into the industry, I went blank, if you will. I didn't make a sale. And my managing director at the time, I was in a cubicle, and he came past my phone about 9 o'clock in the morning and heard someone on the other end screaming at me that I didn't work hard that week and I need to get back on the back making phone calls on Saturdays and Sunday. And quite frankly, Bill, I went 27 straight weeks without missing a sale after that. I think my first year I ended up making 156 sales because I was more afraid of failure than I was of my accomplishments that particular year. So, he's always been my role model, my best friend, but he's always been a mentor and a parent. And so he's always wanted the best from me, whether it's, playing college football or in the financial services business. Always led me to strive to be the best. Can't say he's always been the easiest on me, but he's always wanted me to be the very best.
Yeah, no, that's
so I say
huge.
my dad, but
Yeah.
there's some industry people in there, I've had, Mike Vitri from MetLife, Larry Brewster, Steve Berlin from Mass Mutual, very, 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 very strong role models.
Yeah, no, and that's huge. And what I always tell it doesn't matter. I mean, you are so fortunate enough to have your dad as a role model, and still today, and so do I. I mean, he sits 20 feet from me. But for a lot of people out there, they might not be as fortunate to have a parent as a role model like that, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. It could be a friend. For me, when I was 17 years old, I was right out of high school selling motorcycles, part-time, and one of my customers, who's a Fortune 500 billionaire, became my mentor at that time and changed my life. So my point is, it's so important, to lean on someone. Sometimes you're seeing the four walls, right? You're not seeing outside, and I think that it's so important to be able to lean on someone. And it could have to do with our industry or not, but I always encourage that, Mark, and I was just interested in hearing your story, but that makes complete sense. Yeah. They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and that proves that exactly, and I think it's the same for me. Okay, so, this is the big elephant in the room, obviously COVID-19, the pandemic. Hopefully things start to get better, okay? I'm praying. But like it or not, right, we have to still go out and make a living. I mean, that's the name of the game. And, you can't look at this time as a time to sit back and say, oh, winter's here, I'm just going to wait and reorganize and map out a game plan for 21. Well, as you're doing that, your competitors are passing you by. Okay, and here's something I heard a great analogy the other day. It makes complete sense. And it basically says, going through a time like this, which has never been done in history, right? Let's face it. Think about, these three things, right? Think about when you're looking at yourself as a person and dealing with the last 10 months, right, since February, March, and do you want to be, let's say, the carrot, the egg, or coffee, right? And you're scratching your head saying, Bill, what the hell are you talking about right now? What does this have to do with life insurance? The carrot, right? Think about this. You drop the carrot in hot water, and what happens? It becomes soft, right? Nobody wants to be soft during a time like this. Now's the time you put the foot on the gas. You get scrappy, is what I like to call it. You get hungrier than 2019 and 18 and 17. Now's the time, right? You don't want to be the egg, because what happens when you put the egg in hot water? Well, it hardens up. Right? It becomes real tough. You're not open to new ideas. You just have this wall up. It's a dead end. It's not going to get you anywhere. Now, the coffee bean, what happens to that when it gets dropped in hot water? The coffee bean transforms the hot water into coffee, right? So what does that tell all of us? Tells me I want to be a coffee bean. I want to transform. I want to pivot. I want to make whatever changes are necessary to improve on a personal and business side. Yes, even during a pandemic. It's time to shift gears, get creative, get scrappy, and put your foot on the gas. And my goal is, by hearing some of these strategies with Mark, you're going to be able to be the coffee bean and transform, okay? Until, obviously, things get better, right? But it's always about pivoting. Life is pivoting and transforming and changing. So anyway, I hope you jotted that down, because I want you all to remember that. I think it's so important. On that topic, I want to know from Mark what you can tell us. You're obviously at the carrier side. You guys are also owned by Western Southern Life, who's one of the biggest insurance companies in the world. What are you guys, seeing from the home office perspective? Maybe with sales changes, maybe some product adjustments, technology, anything you can share with us, Mark, on the inside?
Sure. Sure. So just a little infomercial on Lafayette Life. So we're a three-legged stool. We're a whole life carrier. We offer whole life insurance, 7 different products, term insurance. We offer fixed index annuities, SPIAs, and the department that I'm involved with is retirement plan services. We're our in-house third-party administrator. We offer products in those services. And we also offer consultative services with plan design and WebExes and educational services. So quick infomercial on Lafayette Life. But what Lafayette Life did, and we all adapted, is one, we have an iGo app. So we can do online applications. So we never really have to go out and see the clients. And secondly, we can do e-delivery via the internet. So we never have to see the client to even deliver the policy. And we have an internal sales support team that people can talk to and get quotes, talk to them about, illustrations or whatever it may be. And then on top of that, we have 6 regional vice presidents that cover the country for IMOs like yourself, Bill. Your regional happens to be Terry Cook. So we've gone and actually surpassed some of the bigger companies because of our technology and our advances in technology in 2018, 19, and 20. So we're ready. We're actually having a banner year. We're up almost 15% over 2019, which was a 20% increase over 18. So Lafayette Life is having a banner year in life insurance sales and pension retirement planning.
I love it. I love it. I just saw a study that came out 2 days ago on IUL sales being up, 2% this year, which is also mind-boggling to me. So the point is, people are out there and they're asking questions and they're buying life insurance. And it's not rocket science. The reason why is, right, everyone's around the dinner table and they're all looking at dad or mom, whoever the breadwinner is, saying, oh my gosh, if you get COVID and something happens and you pass on, are we going to be okay, right? Well, guess what? That phone call just sparked to an agent. Hopefully it's you for a quote, okay? And that's it. That's what's happening. So I think I love to hear that you guys are up. I think that's huge. And let me also say this, and I think this is important. I spoke about Mary Reed in the beginning. So she's a third-party company, right? She dissects every single product carrier to find what works best with her distribution solutions concept, okay? And she basically narrowed this down to 2 carriers and products. And one of them is Lafayette Life and the Whole Life product, okay? And when you speak to her, in fact, I had her on my episode and webinars, and she always said, for the safer, more conservative client, I would always push them towards Lafayette and the Whole Life product. Well, guess what? We just had some changes on the IUL side, right, because of AG 49. Now, what does that mean? Her concept makes even more sense now with Lafayette Life and the Whole Life strategy. So anyway, that's even more of a reason to get Mark and Lafayette involved in now and in the future for these types of sales as well. Okay, so I love to hear that. What I want to talk about now, we'll shift gears again, is any great concepts, strategies, and I know you have a ton of them, Mark, but let's start off with anything that you can help our agents with, ideas, concepts, so they can start opening new doors as early as today, this afternoon.
Sure. Let me get into 2 different concepts. I'll start one with the life insurance sale basic concept. Then I'm going to get into 2 specific retirement planning ideas that I have for your listening audience. The first one is, GUL is a very, very popular product today because it's basically termed to 120. And one of my mentors that I worked with, his name is Jerry Gavatzos, who is a Lafayette Life agent, told me that he always looks to sell products that have cash value because he's always looking for the exit strategy. So I'll call this the exit strategy sales idea. When you're looking at a GUL, yes, you have the low premiums and it's guaranteed to 120, assuming you pay your premiums on time. But there's no exit strategy. When you want to get out of that policy and cancel it, the money you put in, you're not getting back. It's kind of like paying a mortgage to the bank. You can't ask them for the money back if you want to take a loan. But we have a very low-cost, whole-life product with no dividends, just guaranteed cash value. It's about 15% higher cost than the GUL, but you have an exit strategy if you want to get out of that product. So when you're comparing a GUL to a whole life, people don't compare it well because the whole life is typically much more expensive than the GUL. But with our Heritage 20 product, it's about 15% more, and you're going to get guaranteed cash value. So that's one thing that I'll give you as a sales idea, comparing GUL to a whole life policy. The second idea I'll give you is when you're looking at a lot of people have a lot of cash in CDs, money market accounts, and if they die, they're going to get that balance. We have a very strong single pay called Liberty 20, where you can get 100% of your cash value back by the end of year 2. So if you put $100,000 in that plan, a person age 60 is going to have about $220,000 death benefit that's immediately available. God forbid something happens, but they'll have the $100,000 back by the end of year 2, and by year 10, they'll have about $170,000 in cash. So on a conservative investment with a long-term care benefit and almost more than double your death benefit, what's better than putting your money in a CD versus a single-pay life insurance policy?
I love it. Absolutely love that concept. And again, I hope everyone's writing this down. And by the way, we have all of these brochures, and the 3-part training webinar is on our website as well. So you can even learn more and take advantage of some of these concepts. Okay, Mark, anything else that comes up? And let's also talk about the software a little bit too, if you don't mind.
Sure. So let me discuss Aristopedia. So I work in the retirement planning services department for Lafayette Life, focus on retirement plans. So we have an open architecture, so we can take 401k and become the third-party administrator for that. So, and then what we do is we layer the defined benefit product on top of that, whether it be a cash balance plan or a 412(e)(3) for a sole prop, a family-run business, or a partnership. And that's really where it's most applicable. We have software called Aristopedia.com, which allows us to access every 5,500 that's in the industry. So what I try to teach and train people on a WebEx and talk about 2020, I couldn't spell computer before 2020. Now I can do WebExes and use the computer pretty adroitly. So I work, as a matter of fact, I have 2 calls with 2 of your people tomorrow going over Aristopedia and how to use that via their zip codes or EIN numbers or by names of businesses. And we can find 5,500s in the general locality. So what I'm looking for is 5,500s that have big employer contributions, so that because most people don't realize that they can put more than the 63,500 into a qualified plan. Believe it or not, Bill, someone age 60 can put away into a cash balance plan another $265,000 per year, or accumulate another $3 million in a cash balance plan. And that's little known information. So people know about 401ks, they know about SEPs, and they know about Simples, but they don't know about cash balance plan. And anybody that's in the 401k arena should start looking at layering a cash balance plan on top of a 401k. It's the right thing to do, and if you don't do that, someone that's licensed with you is going to come and on top of you and take that plan away because they have the knowledge that you don't have.
Yeah, exactly. And if let's say you're not comfortable in that space, and obviously you need a little 101, Mark can also get involved and help you out. If you work, and Mark, just correct me if I'm wrong here, but if you're an agent and you work with CPAs and referrals, you will work with the agent, right, and put together a little training for a group of CPAs. Is that right or wrong?
So yes. To elaborate on that, we have a course that we can do. As a matter of fact, I'm doing one at 3:00 today. That we give 2 credits to CPAs. It's Pension Planning 101. It's 2 50-minute sessions, and they can get 2 credits from Lafayette Life for CPE. So yes, absolutely. But to take that a step further with agents, I can do the following. So we can do the plan design. So we send you out a proposal request form. You fill that out. We send you a proposal. So once you have the proposal in your hand, I can do a WebEx with you, the agent, one-on-one to explain why this makes sense to sell this to the end user. Secondly, we can get on with the end user, and I can help you with that, and I can be a consultant on that call with the end user. And third, we can get on a call with the end user and a CPA, if necessary, to explain the advantages of a cash balance plan or a 412. So that's all available, no cost to the agent, just a consultative services opportunity that we have available for your agents.
Yeah, see, that's huge. So think about the opportunities there. And that CE course that Mark was just talking about, use that, right, to get the CPA's attention. And we all know the best leads and referrals come from the CPAs, right, and estate planning attorneys.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah, it's huge. So the opportunities are endless. All right. Any other strategies, ideas, maybe that you're seeing maybe work pretty well during the pandemic, or anything? From it doesn't matter if it's basic or more complex. Anything else you can share that our agents can jot down? Any notes?
I'm gonna give you a simple idea. Okay, on the qualified plan side, the most popular program out there for that a CPA will recommend is either a simple or a SEP. So I'm gonna hone in on the SEP plan. A SEP plan is a simplified employee pension that all you need to do is fill out a form and put it in a folder each year. There's no fees associated with setting up a SEP. But it doesn't make any sense at all when you have employees in a SEP. And so 2 things happen here. One of 2 scenarios. One is the employer doesn't realize that they have to contribute for their employees when they have a SEP. And the simple rules are, if they have an employee that have been with them for 3 out of the last 5 years and have made $500, they have to give them the same percentage that they put in for themselves. If they don't, and they get audited by the IRS, it's a 50% tax penalty, and they take away the contributions. So it's a very serious penalty if they don't contribute for their employees. So a simple sales idea is to look at a cross-tested or new compatibility profit-sharing plan. I'll give you an example. I have a business owner with their wife. He's 54. She's 51. 2 employees aged 34 and 42, making about $30,000 apiece. In the SEP, the 2 owners can put away $44,000, and they have to give $17,000 to their employees. But if they just change that to a cross-tested profit-sharing plan, because it's based on age and income, and they're significantly older than the 2 employees, they now can put in $54,000, and they only have to put in $4,350 for their employees because it's a cross-tested plan. Now they have to do a $5,500, which is about $1,250, but they're putting away about $5,600 or $5,500 for their employees, including the $5,500, as compared to $17,000 in the SEP. Very, very simple sales idea. So anybody that knows a business owner that's putting away into a SEP that they know they have employees, and then either not aware that they have to contribute to their employees or they're neglecting it, that's a simple sales idea on the qualified plan side.
That's huge. That's like a $10,000 to $13,000 savings. That within itself per employee. I mean, that's
per employee,
huge.
And they're putting away $10,000 more for themselves.
Yeah, no, it's a win-win. That's a slam dunk right there. I mean, I love that concept. So, obviously we have a ton of agents on. Some are brand new to the industry. Others are doing this for 50, 60 years, which is great, by the way. But let me. I want to just ask you a couple last things here before we move forward. Okay. Number one, let's say, Mark, you're a newer agent, right? You get appointed with Levinson and Lafayette, and you really haven't worked this business owner market before, right? You know the basics. They've already listened to your training and our episode together. Let's say you have your agent hat on, right? You're starting to call on some of these businesses, right? You're an agent out there in the field. What would be some of the opening lines? Like, what would be some of the hooks that you would throw out there just to get the conversation started? Anything that you can share?
Yeah, so I started in 1989, and one of the markets that I worked with right off the jumpstart was in the payroll deductions life insurance marketplace. I owned it, believe it or not, at 24. I owned 3 dry cleaners. I sold that at 27 and came into the insurance business. And I went right back into the dry cleaning business and sold them payroll deductions. So first thing I would say is go into a market that you're comfortable with. Don't talk to C-level executives if you're 25 years old because you have nothing in common. So go into a marketplace that you have commonality with. So that's first and foremost. Secondly is don't be afraid of the small business owner, but talk about things that they like to talk about. And small business owners love to talk about their success. And their success surrounds their money. So talk about their money. And the one thing that I try to emphasize with small business owners is the first question I ask them is, do you currently have a retirement planning program? And if they do, ask them what kind of plan they have, simple, SEP, 401k, whatever it is. And the second question that I would ask is, are you maximizing that benefit for you? I know sometimes you put in a 401k to maximize for your employees, but are you maximizing this program for you? And typically, believe it or not, they're going to say, no, I'm doing this for my employees. So then I asked them, what if I could show you a program that I could get 75 to 90% of the money into your pocket that's fully tax deductible? And that's where the cash balance in 412 comes into play.
Absolutely love it. That's a slam dunk right there.
Okay. That's a slam dunk. So those are very easy questions. And in our proposal request form, we have 8 questions that you can ask that we can provide you for free, that you can go to a small business owner to talk about pension planning. Bill, the majority of the people that I work with today, yes, granted, we have several producers that have 20, 30 years of experience in the pension world, but the majority of the people that I work today that come to me are brand new. I had a 25-year-old person sold his first pension case. I did 3 seminars with him. It was a $250,000 deposit. He made $15,000 without having the ability to spell cash balance. I did the presentation. I did the proposal with him. He made $15,000 this week. 2 years ago, I sold a Dunkin' Donuts franchise. The premium was $630,000. The agent made $363,000 saying hello and goodbye. So it's out there. It's out there. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to go, outside your 9 dots.
That's right. And with the help of us and Mark, we're giving you all of the ammunition. And what I love about everything that Mark is talking about, Lafayette, right, and some of these whole life products, they're very conservative, guaranteed. It's not like you're talking about, a 10% cap on an IUL and hopefully the rate stays high. Okay, these are typically guaranteed products, very conservative. Okay, so you can feel good speaking to your clients about this carrier and these products, which obviously is the most important part. You're the one that's going to get the phone call 5 years later when that current interest rate, isn't the same as what you spoke about 5 years prior. So anyway, love all of this stuff.
One more sales idea.
Please,
that's a little more involved.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We want to hear from you.
So selling life insurance is not the easiest thing in the world. We can all agree on that. We don't have to get into that right now. But one of the ways to make it a little easier is talking to a business owner that has a partner, or even just a business owner in general, that you can say to them, what if I could show you a way that I could sell you life insurance on a pre-tax basis? Because that question comes up all the time. Is this tax deductible?
Yep.
All the time. And the only true way that it's tax deductible is life insurance inside of a qualified plan. And most people will say to you, you can't put life insurance inside of a qualified plan. Well, I can assure you that I've done about $5 million of premium this year inside qualified plans. And, you know, to have them call you, Bill, and call me, I'll just leave it at that. But there's a way that we can put life insurance inside qualified plan into existing plans and to new plans on a tax-deductible basis.
Huge. That's huge. Yep. And that question comes up all the time. And I think you all know that you've heard this before, right? And typically the answer is, well, you really have to go talk to your CPA. Well, now with this strategy, no, you really have to talk to Levinson, and we'll get Mark on the phone and to structure this and help us. So that, to me, that's the icing on the cake. That's my favorite part of this episode so far, because no one is going to say no to that. If you're a business owner, are you kidding me? How can the premium be tax deductible and not taxed? I mean, think about this. It's huge. So anyway, that was the perfect ending here, Mark. Unless, do you have anything else that you want to share? Any other success stories, any other strategies, anything else before we put a bow on this?
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for having me. I want to say thank you again.
Of course.
But secondly, I want to say don't be afraid to go outside your non-dots. When you're looking at the qualified plan space, what I tell agents that get involved with it is you're not going to sell 100 plans a year. But if you sell 1 to 2 plans a year and get outside your 9 dots and make yourself a little uncomfortable, but we're here to educate you. We're here to guide you. We're here to do joint work with you with no splits involved. That can be an additional $50,000 to $100,000 in first-year commissions with a renewal basis on that for the rest of the plan existence. And it can change a good year into a great year. And the Secure Act of 2020, which was implemented in January of this year, changes the landscape in this scenario because 2 things have changed that are very significant. One is the inherited IRA past the spouse. So what that means is that someone that has qualified money, okay, cannot pass that on to their children for a number of years. They can only pass it on for 10 years, and they have to spend it. So qualified plans and strategies, and Bill, you mentioned the DS strategy, have become a major planning tool for me in the qualified plan space. So that has led to huge sales for that space. Secondly, people that want to put away more than $63,000, there is a way we can do that, and it's very simple to implement. So those are the 2 closing comments that I like to say is, 1, don't be afraid to be great, first and foremost, and don't be afraid to go outside your 9 dots.
Love it. That was spot on. And he's exactly right. It's like, you know, when you make yourself a little uncomfortable and you learn and you're forced to pick up the phone and call us, call Mark, right? Which obviously we can set that up for you. And you learn something new and you make a new sale, right? And you get comfortable with some of the lingo and the terminology and the way the illustrations are ran. After that, you're off to the races. You know how it works when you sold your first, IUL or permanent policy, right? And you said, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to explain a loan on cash value or, whatever the case is. And you figured it out and you said, wait a minute, this was a $7,000 commission, right? And not the $700 commission that I'm used to. Well, you know what, Bill? You got to get comfortable with this. You got to get your arms around it, and it probably changed your business. The same thing goes for business owners, right? And getting creative, and we're here to help you. Think of, that old school captive career agency approach, right? Where, you took a huge commission haircut, but you had all the resources. You had the GA in the office that would go out on the appointments with you and show you the ropes. Meanwhile, you're getting a 15% commission when it should be, 4 or 5 times that. But it doesn't matter. You learned, and it was okay, right, to take the haircut because you were still in the learning stage. Well, think of that same concept, but with us, you're 100% independent. You're making all the commission, and you heard Mark just say he's here to help you, and there's no splits, okay? You're not taking a huge haircut. So this, to me, is the ultimate opportunity if I'm an agent out there trying to learn, right? Trying to supplement my income, trying to provide a great living for my family and changing my year. So anyway, I love to hear this. And by the way, the distribution solution concept, and Mark also brought it up, that's another huge plus. And now Lafayette and the whole life product looks even better. So before, we only had 2 carriers to choose from. Those were the 2 hand-picked best solutions per Mary Reed. Now it's coming down to 1, and that's through Mark and his carrier and product. So anyway, that's another great concept. And by the way, leave a comment either on your favorite podcast channel you're listening to now or on our Facebook page, and I'll send you the distribution solution book for free on me, okay? As long as you're an active agent with us. Even if you're not, we'll get you set up, and I'll send you the book on me. So anyway, that was fantastic. I learned a lot myself. I always love to do these with great guest speakers, and that's exactly what we had today. So take advantage of these resources. That software is priceless, okay? And it's free. There's no small print, no gray area. If you're active, you're in. Done. You can start running lists this afternoon. So let us know. We'll get you up and running. Mark, man, that was fantastic as expected, as good or better than the 3-part training series that we did, which is also on our website. Is there anything else you want to leave the audience with, Mark, before we wrap up?
I just want to say thank you. We're here to support your needs, and I sincerely mean that. I mean, I talk on the, we talk about Corona. And typically I'm in and out of airports if it's normal times. But now I'm doing 15 to 20 WebExes a week. So I think we've become more efficient, and I think we'll be more efficient moving forward because we know time is very valuable, and the use of the internet and computers has really enhanced our practice. I'm getting more done now, unfortunately, than being on an airplane and just sitting there and listening to the pilot. So, use your time wisely. I also say that, take some time and be downtime, enjoy your family during the holiday season because all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. I couldn't always say that about myself. But, as you get a little bit older and you lose a little hair and it becomes a little grayer, family becomes important. And enjoy your time. And then, when 21 comes around, January 4th, let's hit it again. So I want to thank you again. Everybody, I'm accessible. Go through Bill. I'm more than happy to spend as much time on the phone with you as possible, show you Rissopedia, do whatever I need to do to earn your business. So I want to thank you for your time and attention, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Mark. That was fantastic. And look what Mark just said. Okay, he didn't even realize it, but it proves my concept once again. He said a couple years ago, he knew nothing about technology, but here during a pandemic, he's stuck in the house, running these WebExes and presentations and maximizing time. He was forced to utilize technology, right, so he can keep his foot on the gas and maintain and build the business for Lafayette. So that's exactly what you need to do, is be the coffee bean, transform, pivot, utilize the latest tech, okay, just like Mark just said. Okay, he's obviously a sharp guy, okay, but he was forced to maximize technology, okay. Lafayette, A-plus rated, Western Southern Life parent company, e-apps, e-policy delivery. They have positioned themselves as a huge player in the life insurance space, okay, and on their way to being one of our top carriers as well out of 72. So anyway, with that said, let us know. We'll get you set up. I learned a lot, like I said. I hope you did as well. Jot down these notes. Call us with questions. Have a wonderful holiday season. Stay happy and healthy. We'll see you on the other side. Thank you again. Take care.
Thank you for joining us for the Bill Levinson Experience. Please feel free to share this podcast with anyone you think would be interested. You may also visit levinsonandassociates.com and all of Bill Levinson's social media pages for more information.